Hey guys, thanks for checking out my latest video. Hey peeps, I'm going to go over some information here real quick. Got like less than 2 hours till the Thursday night game. Just some quick information relating to the games and mostly for DraftKings ReignMakers and a little bit for DFS, particularly DraftKings DFS, the Showdown games. So Thursday we have Atlanta, Carolina. Sunday morning in Germany, Seattle, Tampa Bay. Sunday night, Chargers, San Francisco, and Monday Night Football, Washington, Philly. The game totals are here. They may be changed, a half point or a point here or there. That's the only game that's relatively high. Not that high. That game's pretty low. As far as the individual team totals, San Francisco and Philly are high. Particularly that over 27. Both those are high. And then Carolina, very low. Below 3 teams below 20, which is low. But in particular, Washington, 16.5. So this comes into play when you're looking to possibly play defenses, because they may not even be projected that high, but the defenses themselves. But they can come in, especially in like the formats of the Showdown or the ReignMaker ShowDown. Remember, the ReignMaker's one that was not based on salary cap; it's just owning the cards. And you see people go with 2 or 3 of a defense type of thing. I personally think Washington will score more than that. I think the Chargers probably will score more than that. Now this one, it could be extremely low scoring. Anyway, so real quick. So using this premium projection site, I basically just put down who the 4 highest scoring players they have in that game are currently, but they don't have these up as showdowns per se yet. So they just have them as projections. But in this one, they have showdowns, but not complete information. But just to show you my thought process, so here were the 4 players in the totals. So Atlanta, Carolina was Mariota, Moore, Pitts, and Walker. Patterson didn't make that. Seattle, Tampa Bay was Brady, Fournette, Smith, and Walker. So no Lockett or Metcalf or Godwin or Evans. Chargers, San Francisco, they actually have Keenan Allen now. That's a question mark. So that may boost Josh Palmer into that. But because they have McCaffrey above, because he's a superstar, see, I didn't want to use the Eckler and Herbert. So there would be Allen, Garoppolo, McCaffrey, and Samuel. But depending on Allen, maybe Josh Palmer could flip in there, or you could flip out that and put in the LAC guys, but there's the total on that. And then Washington, Philly, these are just in alphabetical order. Brown, Goddard, Hurts, and McLaurin. Notice no Devontae Smith or Sanders on that one. But again, that's wanting to have max 3 from one team. So then with my thought process was, for this week, I tried to be a little more systematic about how I'm doing it in Showdown versus Deep, what cards I'm using. Last week, I kind of put a lot more into the Deeps. Previous weeks I'd done a lot in the Showdowns. So I went and calculated like what my best lineups add up to. In this game I have a lot of players from it. And so my rare lineup, and this one's such a wide open one as to what could come in my view. But I have a rare one that's pretty close to being the top lineup. And this is without buying any cards. I've actually been trying to sell cards. And maybe these might sell ahead of the game, who knows. But then I had a core which was also close at 54, so I'm like, well, I might as well keep those 2 in the Showdowns. But then I also have both the defenses, I believe, on rare, and then a kind of a crappy rare, and then another one. And that only came up to 35, but I'm like, well, it might be worth a shot. I think it's going to go ahead and be worth a shot on the rare versus just putting those defenses into like the deeps. So I'd actually like to add one more better player to that, but I don't really want to spend any money. So that one I'm actually probably going to go all 3, I think. Now on Seattle, Tampa Bay, I have a core that's at around 62, so that's close to that. And hopefully what this is telling me is, if one player breaks my way versus another one, I could cash decent. We'll have to see. But that one actually had 3 pretty good rares that I did not build another one with. And I put those into the deep. I have one good core one. I actually went ahead and used the rares there into the deep. It was sort of a debate whether to make it one rare lineup or one core. and I decided the core was ready to go, and so I'm sticking 3 good rares from that game into the deep. Similar thing here, because I own the McCaffrey, the Herbert, and the Eckler, and they're all superstars. What I did was my best core came in there, which is actually low. So I may need to add a core player to that, but I have until Sunday night to do that if I want to do the showdown. But then I actually took, like a Herbert rare and I'm trying to remember what other ones. I'm trying to remember how I did this. Oh yeah. I used my Herbert core in this, and then I have an Eckler core that I put in a deep, and then a McCaffrey rare that I put in a deep, and another Herbert rare that I put in a deep. I believe it's because I had 4 superstars going in this game, so I decided to go ahead and just build 1 core, and it's pretty low, but I can maybe add 1 more, but then use the others in deeps. And then the Monday night one, that's a high total. You can see they go up compared to tonight's, the concentration points. In this case, I have a Hertz, so I went ahead and built a core. Last week I had a Hertz, and I think he was in the showdown, and I used it, and it didn't work well for me, or maybe the previous week. But I said, well, let me go ahead and try it again, because I do have a lot of Redskins players. So that came in at 64. It's sort of below. This one will be a little closer. That'll probably be around 60. That one's pretty close. So they're not chalk lineups, I guess is my point. But I decided to go ahead and build some of them. This one I do have fairly chalkish, sort of. But then I bought other ones, and like this one, I had a good rare that I didn't use in it, or I just had a rare that I didn't use in it. As far as the games themselves, they don't actually have up all the Seattle-Tampa Bay showdown information yet, as from a DFS perspective. So these are just generic predictions. But on the Atlanta-Carolina, as far as the best values, there's some $200 ones here, a $600 one, $400 one. None of them particularly high point totals, but then Koo, the kicker, is probably the highest one. And as far as optimal lineup and leverage, these were the highest players in percentage on DraftKings. So this is salary based for the showdown. Mariota, Moore, Walker, Patterson, Foreman, Pitts, Marshall, London, Koo, and Hubbard. I believe Hubbard's playing tonight. As far as leverage in order, now leverage means that these guys are in their optimal lineup percentage is more than the public is anticipated to be owning them. And for example, Mixon was their top running back leverage play last week, and that came in big. But not all their leverage ones do. But that was a really nice one they had last week in the regular DFS. But so it's Smith, Bird, Walker, Patterson, Huntley, Temple, Chanot, and Blackshear. You have to look up the salaries and whatnot and the specifics of these guys, because sometimes it is with a showdown though. If there's a low price guy who gets 12 points or something on DraftKings, that can be like the winner sometimes. Like it's almost somebody you don't really expect, even particularly in a game like this. I think weird things could happen, or the defense could come in and the kickers. Seattle, Tampa Bay, they don't have optimal leverage up, but just as far as value wise, there were some higher price ones that came in as a better value than like more lower price ones here. So, I dropped off some lower names, but Eskridge, Suckup, Parkinson, Fournette, Homer, Myers, and Godwin. Now they have Fournette pretty high. They may take that down come by Saturday though, so just keep that in mind. It's still fairly early on. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go. I'll be doing another video probably before the Sunday morning games or before the Sunday games. So have a good one. Thanks for checking out, and good luck with your fantasy and Rainmakers and DFS. Have a good one.